Most people think great wine costs great money. It does not. The difference between a 40-pound bottle and a 400-pound bottle has almost nothing to do with what is actually in your glass. It has everything to do with geography, hype, and who controls the narrative. Today, we are exposing which bottles deliver genuine luxury and which ones are just expensive postcodes. Number 10. Douro Valley Red, Portugal. Douro table wine is one of the most dishonestly priced categories in the entire wine world. The same grapes that go into Portugal's legendary ports, Touriga Nacional, Touriga Franca, and Tinta Roriz, are being bottled dry, aged seriously, and sold for under £30. Here is what the label will not tell you. Portugal's land and labor costs are a fraction of Bordeaux's. A producer in the Douro Valley working with centuries-old vine stock, terraced schist hillsides, and extreme temperature shifts that concentrate flavor naturally, without the French price premium attached. Wine Spectator and Bloomberg's 2025 under 50 lists both include Douro Reds, scoring 92 to 94 points in the $25 to $35 range. Quinta do Crasto Reserva consistently earns gold at international competitions and retails under £35. A comparably scored Saint-Emilion would cost 3 times that. What you taste is dark plum, iron minerality, graphite, and a structure that lingers long after the glass is empty. Douro Reds are Bordeaux in disguise. The label just hasn't caught up. Leave Portugal behind, because the next entry proves that the old world's most underpriced category isn't even on the same continent. Number 9. Australian Shiraz from Barossa or McLaren Vale. Australian Shiraz is the single biggest UN fair advantage in fine wine right now. Critics know it. Sommeliers know it. The supermarket shopper standing in front of a bottle with a kangaroo on the label has no idea what they are holding. Here is what most people will not tell you. The Halliday Top 100 is dominated every year by Shiraz, scoring 95 to 96 points at prices around 45 Australian dollars, roughly 25 to 30 pounds in UK retail. Old vines, serious oak programs, genuine aging potential, are all held down in price purely because Australian producers lack the brand mythology of Burgundy or Napa. Producers such as Yalumba, D'Arenberg, and Wira Wira appear repeatedly on global under 50 lists, with scores that rival wines priced at £150. The Halliday Guide explicitly calls these the most undervalued category in fine wine for price-conscious buyers. What you taste is blackberry, bitter chocolate, cracked pepper, and a finish of roasted meat and dried herbs that coats the mouth and refuses to leave. Australian Shiraz punches at twice its price. The critics already know. Now you do. Ask yourself why you have never seen these bottles on a restaurant wine list priced below £60. The answer tells you everything about restaurant markup, not wine quality. Number 8. Rioja Reserva, Spain. Rioja Reserva is the only category in wine where someone else has already done the waiting for you. These wines are legally required to spend a minimum of 1 year in oak and 1 year in bottle before release. You are buying a wine the producer has already aged, and you are paying supermarket money for it. Here is what the marketing will not tell you. The aging legally embedded in the Reserva classification means you are buying 5 or 6 years of winemaker attention for a £35 price tag. To get that same cellar maturity in Burgundy or Napa, you would either wait a decade yourself or pay triple at auction. Global publications including Vine Pair and Wine Spectator consistently include Rioja Reservas in the $25 to $40 range with 90+ scores. Producers like La Rioja Alta, CVNE, and Marques de Murrieta offer reservas under £40, with flavor notes of dried cherry, tobacco, cedar, and vanilla. Reviewers compare those wines to Barolo and Bordeaux that cost 4 times as much. What you taste is time itself. Mature, complex, ready to drink tonight. Rioja Reserva is fully aged luxury for supermarket money. There is no catch. The next bottle on this list does something no other category in wine can legally claim, and most drinkers have never even tried it. Number 7. Grower Champagne. Grower champagne is where this list starts getting genuinely disruptive. The big houses, Moet, Veuve Clicquot, Laurent Perrier, buy grapes from hundreds of growers, blend them for consistency, and spend enormous sums making you believe the logo justifies the price. Grower champagnes do the opposite. One estate, one harvest, one winemaker's decision. Here is what the label will tell you if you know how to read it. Look for the letters RM, Recoltant Manipulant, at the bottom of the label. That code means the person who grew the grapes also made the wine. No middleman, no blending committee. Producers like Charton Taillet, Pierre Peters, and Barechet Fils produce champagnes in the 35 to 45 pound range with long lees aging and critical scores of 90 to 94 points. Bloomberg's 2025 list of 50 best wines under 50 calls grower champagne the most undervalued sparkling category in the world, noting that the RM code signals a quality commitment that most non-vintage Grand Marque releases at 60+ pounds cannot match. What you taste is fine mousse, fresh brioche, crushed chalk minerality, and a finish that lingers with lemon curd and sea air. Skip the billboard. Buy the vineyard. Real champagne starts with ERM. Get the next entry wrong, and you are leaving the most consistently undervalued white wine category in the world sitting on the shelf untouched. Loire Valley Chenin Blanc is the insider's substitute for white Burgundy at half the price. Appellations like Vouvray, Savonnieres, and Mont-Louis-sur-Loire produce Chenin Blanc with mineral precision, complex acidity, and aging potential that most Chablis producers charge 80 to 100 pounds to deliver. Here is what most people will not tell you. Chenin Blanc improves dramatically with age, 10, 15, even 20 years. When you buy a well-made Vouvray or dry Savonnieres for under 35 pounds, you are buying a wine that could drink better in 2035. Wine professionals interviewed by VinePair specifically name the Loire as the region they turn to when they want white Burgundy quality without white Burgundy prices. Producers like Domaine Hewitt, Nicolas Joly, and François Chedane produce bottles under 40 pounds with scores in the 91 to 94 range. Jancis Robinson calls Savonnieres one of the most intellectually rewarding white wines on earth, and it retails at a fraction of Premier Cru Burgundy at the same quality level. What you taste is electric acidity, white peach, damp stone, quince, and a mineral backbone that drives through to a finish lasting longer than bottles costing 3 times as much. Loire Chenin is the white Burgundy hack that sommeliers keep for themselves. That is the last category where the value hides in obscurity. From here, the list moves into territory where the quality is famous, but the price somehow never followed. If you are finding this helpful, hit subscribe. Number 5. Willamette Valley, or Finger Lakes Pinot Noir, USA. American sommeliers have a secret. When they are off-duty and spending their own money, they are not buying Napa. They are buying Willamette Valley and Finger Lakes, regions producing wine on the same quality level as the most hyped American appellations, at prices that have not yet caught up. Here is the uncomfortable truth. VinePair's 2024 survey of American sommeliers named both regions the most underrated in the United States, with respondents describing the Pinot Noir as genuinely world-class but still priced for a local audience. Producers like Lingua Franca, Christum, and Ravines Wine Cellars consistently produce bottles in the $35 to $45 range, with critic scores of 90 to 95, scores that would push a Burgundy equivalent toward 150 pounds. What you taste is red cherry, dried violet, forest floor, and earthy spice, the same architecture as a Gevrey, Chambertin, Premier Cru, without the French land price premium buried in every sip. These are the bottles American wine professionals actually drink. Now you know why. The next producer on this list just earned a 95-point score from a critic who reviewed nearly 3,000 wines this year. The bottle costs 32 pounds. Number 4. High-end Provence Rose. Not all rose is poolside decoration. The best Provence Rose, structured, serious, food-pairing wine, belongs on this list because it remains one of the only luxury categories where the price has stayed rational while the quality has surged. Here is what the marketing hides behind pretty pink bottles. Roses from Tavel, Bandel, and producers like Domaine Tempier, Chateau Simone, and Clos Sibon undergo extended skin contact, age in large oak foudres, and develop complexity with savory herb, cherry stone, dried strawberry, and garrigue, creating a depth that structured whites at the same price cannot match. Bloomberg's 2025 Under 50 list includes structured roses offering complexity, food pairing flexibility, and bottle aging potential more commonly associated with red wine. At under 40 pounds, a Bandel rose from Domaine Tempier delivers what a 60-pound white Burgundy delivers in terms of grip and focus. For the price of a supermarket Whispering Angel, you can have a rose with genuine winemaking ambition and a decade of aging potential. What you taste is white cherry, stone, dried herbs, and a finish with the texture of a well-made white Rhone. Serious Rose is wine's most underestimated category. Stop walking past it. What comes next is uncomfortable if you have ever spent 40+ pounds on a Napa Cabernet and felt good about it. Number 3, Washington State or Chilean Cabernet Sauvignon. If you are still paying Napa prices for Cabernet Sauvignon, you are paying for a postcode. Washington State's Columbia Valley and Chile's Maipo and Colchagua valleys are producing Cabernet, scoring 93 to 94 points, for 1/10 of what cult Napa bottles charge. Here is what the label will not say. Washington Cabernet benefits from the same diurnal temperature variation that makes Napa fruit so concentrated, but with lower land costs, and winemakers with nothing to prove and everything to gain. VinePair and Bloomberg roundups of wines under $50 include Washington Cabernet Franc and Bordeaux-style blends at $30 to $40, scoring 93 to 94 points. Chilean producers like Don Melchor, Almaviva, and Vina Montes earn consistent international gold medals, with bottles sitting at or under 45 pounds. What you taste is blackcurrant, cedar, graphite, and structured tannin, without the marketing premium of a Napa, a VA sticker. Same quality, different postcode. Fraction of the price. Napa sells geography. Washington and Chile sell the wine. Buy the wine. What comes next makes everything so far look like a warm-up. Number 2, Georgian Saperavi or Kvevri aged white. Georgian wine is the most conversation-starting bottle you can put on a table for under 35 pounds. Full stop. Here's what the label will not tell you, because most people have never seen a Georgian wine label. Georgia has been making wine for 8,000 years. The Kvevri, a clay amphora buried in the ground, is the world's oldest winemaking vessel, and Georgian producers have never stopped using it. When a Saperavi or an Amber Erkatsiteli is fermented in Kvevri with extended skin contact, the structure, tannin depth, and flavor complexity that emerges has no parallel in European wine at this price. Producers like Pheasant's Tears and Teliani Valley appear on Bloomberg's Under 50 list, with reviewers calling them intense, distinctive, and impossible to replicate with European grapes at this price. They retail well under $40 in the US and under 30 pounds in the UK. The closest European equivalent in grip and concentration would be a Barolo or a Northern Rhone Syrah at 3 to 5 times the price. What you taste in a great Saperavi is violent dark fruit, blackberry, black plum, tart pomegranate, with tannins that grip like velvet, and a finish of dried herbs and wood smoke that lasts minutes, not seconds. Georgian wine is the most underpriced, serious bottle in the world right now. Prove me wrong. Number 1 looks like a safe, familiar choice. It is anything but. Number 1, blind tasting verified under $50, All-Star. The most dangerous bottle on this list earned its place in a blind tasting, not on a brand name or a famous postcode. Binny's, one of the largest wine retailers in the United States, runs an annual program where staff from all 46 stores conduct blind tastings to find their top 50 wines under $50. No labels, no prices visible, just the wine. Here is what that process exposes every single year. The wines that consistently win are single vineyard or reserve level bottles from producers without famous names, bottles that would cost significantly more if they carried a Napa, Pomerol, or Grand Cru class appellation on the back. Bloomberg's 2025 Under 50 list was compiled from nearly 3,000 wines across 26 countries. The final picks sit in the range of 25 to 40 pounds, with scores of 93 to 95 points. What that tells you is precise and actionable. If a bottle appears on a blind tasting verified Under 50 list, it has already passed the only test that matters. Someone with no financial incentive put it in a glass and said, "This is worth more than it costs." What you taste is whatever the winemaker actually intended, not what the packaging promised, not what the postcode suggested, just wine that earns its glass. Don't buy the postcode, buy the blind tasting result. That is the only honest verdict. Across all 10 categories, one truth stands out. The wine market systematically undervalues geography, honesty, and obscurity. When brand mythology drives price, the liquid in the glass gets left behind. Don't buy the label, read it. Subscribe for more.